She laughed and called me her plan B when she thought I wasn't listening. So I left without a word. Now I'm building a life with the one person she never expected, her own sister. I never imagined my life would pivot so sharply on what seemed like an ordinary weekend at the lake. My name is Daniel, 34, a software architect, decent in the kitchen, and until recently, the long-term partner of Vanessa, 31. For nearly 4 years, we built a life together, joint savings accounts, shared mortgage payments on a condo, holidays divided between her parents and mine. We hadn't bought rings yet, but we had certainly admired a few through shop windows. That Friday, we made the 3-hour drive north to her family's cedar-paneled cabin. Maya, her younger sister and a 28-year-old med school resident, sat quietly in the back seat. Behind us in another car were Vanessa's cousins, Ellie and Marco. I'd always felt welcome among her family. Her dad and I often traded barbecue tips, and her mom sent me jars of homemade chutney after every visit. And then there was Maya, the reserved one, usually curled up with a paperback at family gatherings. Our conversations were light, centered on book recommendations or the rigors of night shifts in med school. We arrived just as the sun began to dip below the treeline, painting the lake in burnt orange as loons called somewhere beyond the reeds. Inside, we unpacked groceries, aired out the rooms and settled in. The cabin smelled of cedar, with smoke, and the promise of early summer. Dinner was simple, tacos and canned margaritas. The conversation floated between gossip about a cousin's Vegas elopement and Maya's latest hospital rotation. Around 11, Marco suggested a campfire. By midnight, most of the group had drifted indoors, leaving only Ellie and Vanessa on the deck with a bottle of red. I volunteered to fetch more firewood from the shed. The crisp air smelled faintly of rain that hadn't fallen yet. I took my time stacking logs, relishing the quiet after a long day of chatter. On my way back, I heard laughter. Ellie's distinctive snort followed by Vanessa's softer giggle. I slowed, partly to avoid slipping on the moonlit steps and partly because I didn't want to interrupt. Ellie's voice carried in the still night air. "Do you think Dan's finally going to propose soon?" Her words made me smile. Vanessa and I had talked about timelines just last month. Then Vanessa's laugh came, airy and almost dismissive. "Oh God. I hope not yet. I mean, Dan's great, safe. He's like my plan B." The pile of logs in my arms suddenly felt heavier. Plan B. A flood of memories surged. Her crying on my shoulder after a layoff, me staying up all night to make her a birthday slideshow, the spreadsheet we shared to track savings for a bigger place. Were those moments of love to her, or insurance policies? Ellie sounded surprised. Plan B. I froze in the shadows by a birch tree, just outside the glow of the patio lanterns. Vanessa's voice floated through the stillness. "Yeah, like, if nothing better comes along, at least I'll have him. He's not exciting, but he's stable. I just feel like there's something more out there for me. You know?" I didn't hear Ellie's response. I didn't wait. I turned back to the cabin, walking softly across the gravel path, the cold bark of the logs pressing into my arms. Inside, the living room was quiet, lit only by the dying fire. I set the wood down gently, grabbed my phone, wallet, and keys, and walked out the door without a sound. The 3-hour drive back was a blur. No music, no tears, just darkness and a dull throb behind my eyes. At dawn, my phone began to light up with missed calls and frantic texts. "Where are you? Are you okay? Please come back so we can talk." I stared at the screen for a long time before typing a single message. "I'm not anyone's backup plan. We're done." I didn't wait for a reply. Over the next few days, Vanessa's messages swung from guilt to anger. "You're being dramatic. You owed me a conversation. After everything we built, you don't get to just walk away." But I did. Instead, I reached out to Maya, not for revenge, not for comfort, just logistics. We still shared the apartment, and I needed to know when Vanessa wouldn't be there so I could collect my things. Maya called instead of texting. Her voice was quiet. "She really said that?" "Yes. I'm so sorry, Daniel. You didn't deserve that." 2 days later, she met me at the apartment. Vanessa was out. Maya had even brought cardboard boxes to help. It should have been awkward, packing up years of memories with my ex's younger sister. But it wasn't. We didn't talk much. She wrapped plates in newspaper while I sorted through books and chargers. At one point, I found an old Polaroid of Vanessa and me at Coney Island from our first trip together. I stared at it for 3 seconds before dropping it into the trash. Later, when we unloaded everything into a storage unit, Maya offered to stay and help me sort. We ordered takeout and ate on the floor, the conversation meandering from childhood cartoons to favorite authors. That night, after she left, I sat alone in my empty apartment and felt something I hadn't felt since the lake house. Peace. Maya and I kept crossing paths, first for practical reasons, then for no reason at all. Dinners became walks. Walks became long phone calls. Calls became nights of laughter. Did you eat? I'm on break. Want me to drop by some soup? It's freezing tonight. Toby, her neighbor's dog, ate an entire loaf of bread today. Send help. I didn't realize how much those little messages mattered until I caught myself smiling at my phone in the middle of an empty apartment. One evening, after another long shift, Maya called. Her voice was tired but soft. You sound better these days, Daniel. Better than what? I asked. Better than when you were with her, she said gently. You laugh more now. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about her words. She was right. The man Vanessa left behind wasn't the man I was becoming. And maybe that was a good thing. The first time Maya and I had dinner together that wasn't about moving boxes, it felt almost dangerous. Not because we were doing anything wrong, but because it felt so easy. We sat across from each other in a dim little Thai restaurant, the kind with mismatched chairs and fairy lights strung along the walls. She wore her scrubs under a fleece jacket, hair pulled back in a loose bun. No makeup, no effort to impress. Just her. Do you feel guilty? She asked halfway through her curry. About Vanessa? I asked. She nodded. Not anymore, I admitted. Do you? Maya pushed her rice around with her fork. I did. But then I remembered she never really saw you. I stared her, surprised. You were always giving, Daniel. She took. And I know she's my sister, but even I could see it. Her honesty was disarming. That was Maya, always quiet, but when she spoke, she never wasted words. We didn't plan to fall for each other. It just happened. Slowly, softly, and without the sharp edges that had defined my relationship with Vanessa. One night, after another late dinner, Maya fell asleep on my couch, her head resting lightly on my shoulder. The quiet rise and fall of her breathing somehow steadied my own. I didn't dare move, not because I was scared of waking her, but because in that moment, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. I felt home. When Vanessa found out, the fallout was everything you'd expect. The first call came at 2 a.m. I didn't answer. The second was angrier, her voice tight with rage. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? You were probably after her the whole time. God, you're disgusting. She sent Maya paragraphs of venom too, accusing her of betrayal, of stealing me away, of ruining her life. But none of it was true. There was no grand scheme, no hidden agenda. The truth was simple. Vanessa had left me emotionally long before I left her physically. Maya and I chose to stay quiet about our relationship. No social media posts, no public declarations. It wasn't secrecy, it was protection. We took it slow. Walks in the park, movie nights at home, shared playlists on late drives. Somewhere in those small moments, I realized I wasn't waiting for her to compare me to someone else. I wasn't a backup plan anymore. I was the plan. It's been over a year now. Vanessa moved to another city, cut ties with her family, and blocked us both. I can't say I blame her. Some wounds don't heal, and forgiveness isn't always possible. As for us, Maya and I live in a modest apartment filled with plants and sunlight. Toby, the rescue husky we adopted, has claimed the couch as his throne. Sunday mornings are slow. We make pancakes in pajamas, argue about which playlist to put on, and read side by side in companionable silence. It's not flashy or dramatic. It's just peaceful. And sometimes, In the quiet of those mornings, I think back to that night at the lake house. The way 30 seconds of overheard truth shattered one life but built the foundation for another. Vanessa saw me as her plan B. But Maya? She made me realize I'd always been someone's plan A.